Do we want civilizational nationalism or we want better governance? Wasn't this election about good governance? We have floods. Gaurav Samant, as we speak, there is floods in Manipur.
Yes.
There's a heat wave across this country. We've had terrible fire blazes in different parts of the country. I believe whoever is in
Which
power,
India today is
whichever
covering
party,
in big
should
big
be
way.
focusing on governance. Civilizational nationalism is not, according to me, the
Sir,
core issue which is going to make India truly a Viksit
Again,
Bharat.
when you
And I'll come to the
understand-
Khatakat point then. Because the fact is, what we have seen in this election is competitive populism. Everyone believes that if all else fails, I can in some way incentivize people
Buy it
with
out.
cash handout. Now, this is not just true with the Khatakat politics of Mr. Rahul Gandhi. We've also seen it not too long ago with Shivraj Singh Chauhan. He probably won that election on Ladli Behna by saying, I'm going to give you 1,200
Or
rupees.
Mamta Banerjee with Lakhir Bhandar.
Mamta Banerjee with Lakhir Bhandar, and we are seeing it across the country. Now, some of them, I don't think have done their maths before they've gone into these numbers. And I think that's a worry, because I would have rather seen this election being fought on what is your core economic agenda,
But it wasn't.
point by point.
But it wasn't.
It became about Mangal Sutra somewhere, Machli somewhere.
Core economic
But that
agenda was never on the table.
You see, both sides at some stage engaged in fear mongering. One, I believe, engaged in the fear mongering about, if you vote for the Congress, वो आपकी भैंस ले लेंगे, मंगल सूत्र ले लेंगे, मुसलमानों को reservation दे देंगे. Utter crap that need not have come in the campaign. On the other side, you had the Congress saying, if the BJP comes to power, they'll do away with reservations.
Sir,
I haven't seen anywhere when the BJP has ever said that they're doing away with reservations. So
Musalmanों को आरक्षण
I want
is
election
something
should-
that RJD is also talking about.
But
Sir, the fact
Andhra
is,
Pradesh, it has already happened.
Sir.
Courts may have struck it down, but Andhra Pradesh, it has happened.
Sir, the fact is, at the
We
end
spoke
of the
about
day,
this last time as
we
well.
were mixing issues. My point is, the election should have been on hope. At some stage, it became about fear, because politicians sometimes believe they can divide people through vote bank politics.
Okay.
I was reassured when I traveled across the country, especially the young that Preeti spoke about. Moment you said Hindu Muslim, he said, "Sir, ये छोड़िए, ये आप गोदी मीडिया वाले Hindu Muslim करते हैं, असली मुद्दों पर आओ." I was pleasantly surprised that social media in particular has made many young people think about issues, including Manipur. In Patna College, I had a 10-minute debate, which was, according to me, they seem to know more than us about Manipur and what's
Biggest
happening.
zinger this election.
you know, my observation,
Specific, but,
I'll
yeah.
tell you, I covered this in 7 seats across Delhi, and I agree with Rajdeep sir that people weren't bothered about your bhains le jayega, your Mangal Sutra, this, that. What people got affected with were the statements around the wealth distribution. That was the only statement that upset a certain section of the population in the old Delhi area. But apart from that, people were like, फर्क नहीं पड़ता, you know, यहाँ पर पानी नहीं आती है, सड़कें अच्छी नहीं है, घर में बेटा है, नौकरी नहीं है. This is what matters to us. Gas का दाम, everybody that I spoke with has raised this issue. 1200 रुपए is, you can't afford this.
Okay.
This is something that needs to be taken care of. However, is there an alternative? And is there a sense that I got from people? They say, 10 साल चल रहा है ना, continuity is what I thought a lot of people want, कि चल रहा है,
Who else is
ठीक
there?
हो जाएगा, और कुछ समय दोगे
So they don't
तो
have
ठीक
faith,
हो
you're
जाएगा.
saying?
They have faith. They
It's an
still have
alternative.
faith that there is a
Which is the
scope for
point that
improvement.
Rajdeep has raised as well. Nabila, game changers, zingers this election, specific.
Well, I'm just going to give my opinion on the overall. As Rajdeep sir says that Prime Minister Modi will come back, I feel so too very strongly, because we are hero worshippers. We are a country who idolizes. And for us, Prime Minister Modi, at least the large chunk of the population, we've seen that in 2 elections, love Modi and the aura he holds, not just for the people within the country and the Hindutva brigade.
So you're saying
but
the Modi
also
factor is the
global
highest.
approach that Modi brings with him has really seeped in to the urban and the rural. And that's what I catch in most places, even in the south. But if there was an alternative, then they're willing to choose the alternative. Like Revanth Reddy, he's not contesting elections, but he's managed to win Telangana for the Congress. And he is someone who people kind of reckon with. Same with Karnataka. Siddaramaiah is a face that they see who's strong enough, who can give tucker to a Modi. So when there is a strong local leader, somehow the Congress is able to
But you know, one
catch their
difference,
vote back.
Shiv.
But Rahul Gandhi, in that sense, to face off with Prime Minister Modi, somehow that is a mismatch.
But there is a
Which has
difference.
happened
I
in the
think
last 2 cycles.
if you see in 2014 and then in 2019, the opposition was completely gobsmacked by what hit them. In this election, Rahul Gandhi and the Congress have actually fought as if they thought this was a battle they had a chance in. So the whole idea, you know, after 1962, some in the Indian army would describe Chinese soldiers, like you would all know, like they were all 10 feet tall, they'd come marching down Assam and there would be no answer to them. For a while, the opposition was in a state of paralysis. Not before the campaign, but during the campaign. During the campaign, they came to the conclusion, oh, well, there is an election, we have a chance, and they started fighting, and they actually fought with the belief. So they no longer think of the BJP as being invincible. That's something the BJP also needs to realize. This is now, from here, going to be more keenly contested.
Fighting to possibly win.
They figured that the BJP would earlier browbeat them, show that 56 inch ki chhati, and
Which
the
is how it
opposition would
started.
completely collapse.
Yeah, look, you know, the fact is that the BJP is a remarkable machine. And I do believe that whenever I hear somebody tell me kaate ki takkar, I say BJP jeet rahi hai. Because, you know, my instinct is that kaate ki takkar means they've got the last mile which will enable them to win.
but Rajiv-
I will make this distinction. I think there will, and we will see this in the next 5 years is my sense, between Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha. In Lok Sabha, Mr. Modi is, as I said, looms larger than life. In Vidhan Sabha, it doesn't happen. And contrast 2014 to 19, the BJP won several states they had never won before. For example, they became party number 1 in Maharashtra. From 2019 to 24, the BJP has struggled. They won Haryana, for example, overwhelmingly in 2014. 2019 to 24, there's been a drop in the BJP votes when there's a state election. So I think if there's a khatre ki ghanti for the BJP, it's simply this. You can't put all your eggs in Prime Minister's basket.
look
You're going to
at
have
Delhi's
to
case
find
in point.
ways in which you can put up strong regional leaders, strong state leaders. Look, Yogi Adityanath is pulling up the BJP in Uttar Pradesh. I believe eventually, if the BJP does reasonably well in UP and survives this caste churning that Preeti is right about, it's the Yogi factor. Not just Mr. Modi, but in other states. I mean, in Rajasthan, their chief minister has only accentuated some of the divisions that exist within the Rajasthan
the
Congress.
fact is-
In Maharashtra, the BJP's own cadres are upset that they've gone ahead and tied up with the NCP of Ajit Pawar. You cannot take your cadres and your candidate and your local leaders for granted. The same mistake the Congress made all those years ago, the BJP at times has been making it in this election.
What awaits Indian politics after the 4th of June? You've got elections in Haryana, where the BJP faces serious anti-incumbency. The Congress is in with a real chance. There are elections in Maharashtra, where again, the current government, led by Eknath Shinde, is going to face a very tough battle. Uddhav Thackeray has grown in stature. He's emerged as arguably one of the key campaigners in Maharashtra. There are elections in Jharkhand, where the BJP will have the advantage, but Hemant Soren has a bit of a sympathy factor going in his favor. The elections in Jammu and Kashmir, which again aren't very pro-BJP. So there is a real, so what this essentially means is, you know, the point that Gaurav was making, forget the idea that democracy is dead in India. Democracy is alive and kicking, and you need to go out and do battle. You know, this whole idea where the opposition starts thinking, oh, BJP ke to 400 par aa rahe. Many in the Congress were saying that when you talk to them in private. That is the problem. You have to have belief that you can fight
Even
them.
the opposition has stopped saying democracy is
The
dead.
fact is,
No, wait till the 4th of June.
Wait till the 4th.
Or the 1st of June.
Democracy will also die. EVMs will also have a
You know,
problem
we-
for some. And all those problems, unfortunately,
but we
will
must
come
make a
again
distinction.
when internationally again they
No, but we
tarnish
must
India's
make a
image.
distinction, I believe, between electoral democracy and constitutional democracy. Constitutional democracy is about making institutions robust.
Sir, institutions in our country are extremely robust.
Electoral democracy is about what we've seen, the cut and thrust of election. I wish the election commission had actually risen to the occasion. I am amazed that the election commission cannot summon up more gumption to put some of our top leaders in line.
Okay.
Why not?
Point
you
made
put that
again.
poor judge, that Kolkata judge was stopped from campaigning for 48 hours for something he said about Mamata Banerjee. There were so many more leaders who said far worse, far bigger. Why can't you put them somewhere? We've got to put deterrent.
Sir, we're on our final, okay.
You know, I
Quick
just
point,
want-
then I'll go to my last point. Yeah.
You know, the final word which I want to get in, Shiv, is the fact is the BJP and the Modi wave is receding. The opposition came to the party too late. I feel they missed the bus. Even, you know, the likes of us who've been in the studio, and I'd say it honestly, when I went to ground 48 days ago, I actually went with the perception of 370. And we'll take it from there. Uttar Pradesh, a state, wasn't even on my to-do list, and I thought that was going to be a done deal for the BJP. It was once you were there, you realized in the beginning, and I have to say the first couple of phases, the opposition came from the people. The opposition, Gathbandhan, woke up too late. They missed this bus. They could have capitalized on it.
The last question I want to ask, and I'll start again with you, Rahul, is, you know, the whole idea of numbers being a narrative. You know, 400 par became a war cry by the BJP. You know, then they kind of went mute on it for a while. Then they came back. Then the opposition started saying they will not cross even this figure. The numbers became a part of that big narrative. What kind of role do you think that played? Now it's back on the
No,
table.
but both of you understand military strategy. This is classical psyops with the enemy.
Yeah, mind
You
games.
keep talking about 400 par. Many in the opponent ranks get intimidated. They start thinking, oh, inke to 400 par aa rahe. They don't fight. And for a very long while, from October till about February, the opposition wasn't fighting the way that they should. I want to give you a small example. Most BJP leaders we met would want to meet at 6:37, 7:38 in the morning. And obviously, if you're working till late nights, really, it's like a tough ask waking up that early in the morning, going, catching them. Most of the opposition leaders we met would meet 10:30, 11, 11:30, 12 in the middle of a full working day. Now, this is not bias. This is just reality. Look at the intensity of effort being made on the one side versus the intensity of the effort on the other.
And then they blame democracy.
With one caveat,
leaders
Rahul,
like
what you said.
Mamta Banerjee,
No, Rahul has made a
they
very-
fight.
No, that's
Leaders
right.
like Mamta Banerjee are fighting.
I think the distinction you would draw is between, Rahul, you are quite right, the intensity with which the BJP fights an election, even in Varanasi, which appears, a done deal as it could be in an election, they're still putting their last efforts right in the very end, I think are the regional leaders. If you see Tejasvi Yadav, he's probably addressed, I was told the other day, more than anyone else, 263 rallies.
Yeah.
263 rallies, one individual. Uddhav Thackeray, who has got, 8 stints, but has still addressed perhaps more rallies than anyone else in Maharashtra. You've got Mamta Banerjee in Bengal. You've got at least the Biju Janata Dal making an effort despite Naveen Patnaik's ill health. He may not be out there, but he's got a system in place. I think it's the regional parties, individual leaders who've shown they have the fire in the belly. I have absolutely no problem if the BJP or the Prime Minister addresses 200 rallies. He has every right to do so.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
you're quite right. The other side should show that they have the same amount of effort.
If they
Nothing
have the
stops you.
same
But
fire in their belly, and if the opposition doesn't have that fire
No, I
in their
just
belly,
wanna-
or at least the bigger parties, and then, I'm sorry, Rajdeep, some of these political parties ban journalists, will not come
Speaking
for
of which-
exit polls, will not come there, and then say democracy is dying.
So-
Arey bhaiya, khud to practice karo democracy.
you see, there is one statistic which we are going to have to look at in this election. 170, and Rahul and I will look at it carefully during the exit
I
polls
have a
also.
related news flash.
178 constituencies.
Yeah.
Where BJP and Congress were in direct contest, i.e. more than 80% of the vote between these two parties in 2019. The BJP won 166, the Congress 12. Unless that changes, nothing's going to change.
Okay,
I
okay.
think that is
I
the
have
key
to-
statistic that I'm going to be looking at.
Since you were talking about bans and boycotts and stuff, and Gaurav and I, by the way, are blacklisted by the Congress party. We're one of those 14 anchors. But there's a news flash that I want to bring into this discussion in this final stretch, courtesy Mausami Singh, our dear Congress reporter, who says the Congress will not be sending guests for debates on the exit poll.
But Shiv, for Telangana they did, for Karnataka they did. Now that's the hypocrisy. If at all they knew, no,
Did they for
Revant Reddy
Karnataka?
came and sat for an exit poll.
No,
So
so
Revant Reddy is his own man.
No,
Siddharapaya is
all of
his
them.
own man.
What does
DK
this mean,
Shivkumar
though?
also came and
Their
sat.
own men.
No, in own men kya hota
But I'll tell you
Arey,
this,
they
Rahul.
had spokespeople
But Rahul, it's
coming on
very
the
good.
day of the exit poll.
I think that's the best news we've got. So Rahul and I get more airtime. We can discuss.
You're all
numbers
banned
better.
now like Gaurav and me.
We can look. We can spend more time. Look, frankly, I believe exit polls are about dice because every party who's going to come tomorrow on the exit polls is going to say they've won 544 seats.
But they come at least.
543 in India and 1 in POK. So that's as an aside. But the fact is, they all believe they're winning. The fact is, I think exit polls are about analysis. Once the results come, I hope they will still come even if they lose. My worry is the party which loses, often some of their leaders go underground when they lose the election.
No,
That's
and
not
then
done.
they'll start blaming the EVMs and start tarnishing the
But I
country's
think if you
reputation
really
and
want to
saying
fight,
democracy is
then you
backsliding
gotta
in
face-
India.
you-
And that's a shame, Rajdeep. That's the civilizational nationalism I'm talking about. Whether you win or you lose,
No, no,
at
but
least love your country
I
and
haven't-
show that
I
love for your
haven't seen-
country.
Oh.
India,
No, one second.
India
I want to stay on this
Mujhe
for just a
just
moment.
प्यार है.
I feel that like for example, BJP's organizational skills, they have something called Ardh Panna Pramukhs, which is booth level workers who are responsible for half of
No,
voters.
but I haven't-
Acha,
So
madam,
60
but
voters.
you know,
they are
Nabila,
responsible
as
for
Rahul
60
said,
voters
madam,
only.
that's all very well. All parties now have started doing it. What
Where-
the BJP is doing is that BJP has also lost election. They lost in your home state of Karnataka. That time you were not jumping
Because
around saying
you're right.
BJP has done
Because
this,
you're
that.
right. Because
BJP
you're
has
right.
lost. BJP
Sir,
has lost
you're
in
right.
Bengal. BJP has lost. There are states where the BJP
Because
has
they
not
are
opened.
banking on Prime Minister
Nothing.
Modi's face. You said it right. You
Rafael
are putting
Nadal,
all your eggs in one basket.
Madam, the great Rafael Nadal lost in the French Open first round in straight sets to Alexander Zverev. Nothing is permanent in life, in politics.
Certainly
You
not
have
in
to fight for
elections,
it.
but the
I
question
just
is
have one
about this
comment to
election.
make. I have one thing to say. Prime
But
Minister Modi, as
Rajdeep,
much as he's
national
admired.
interest is
One
permanent.
second. As
अरे
okay,
national
speaking-
interest, you have आपने ठेका रखा है.
We have only a few minutes
Rajdeep,
left.
Gaurav, only are talking. None of us
Yes,
are here talk here.
Last comment, and then I want to go to
I think objection when you say national.
I
We
just
are
wanna-
also
I
national.
just wanna- I wanna get-
let's
The
leave that
fact
aside.
is, I've
We are
spent
not
40
nationalists, madam.
I have, no, it's,
No, we are not nationalists,
Can I
he's
just
saying
say something?
nationalists.
Yeah.
I've spent 48 days on ground. All of this democracy khatre mein hai, all of these conversations don't stick. You know, there are people, they have real issues and they'll decide
Yeah.
this election.
Yeah.
Let's just let it be.
Also because, Gaurav, sorry, Shiv, if
No,
you're a
you
Muslim,
said Rajdeep also, you're not letting me
if
talk.
you're a Musahar, which comes from the rat catcher community just outside Patna, you go to Hajipur, in their village, which I went 30 years ago when Lalu had promised that he would do special scheme for the Musahar, life hasn't changed.
Yeah.
$100 bucks. Rahul is absolutely right about khatakat and isko itna denge. But on the bottom of the pyramid, even if I get 200 rupees extra, it makes a difference. You know, the fact is,
Final comments.
As
Okay.
Sneha said, 1200 rupees. You know, gas cylinder. I went to this
Minus
village.
2 people.
They had stored the gas cylinders. They were rusting. I said, why? He said, we don't have the money for a refill. This is the reality of India. Wake up and smell the coffee. Civilizational nationalism. Baad mein baat
And I
karenge.
agree. I agree that
nationalism
Shiv,
is
I also
helping
want to
those
say-
people.
Gaurav is also
Let's
not
go to
helping.
Asti
It's
Kapoor.
Yes,
It's
yes,
not
not
helping.
helping.
It's
Not
not
helping
helping.
at all. Not helping.
Fine,
that
fine,
really
okay.
Muslims.
Civilization, nationalism.
Try explaining civilization to somebody who's at the bottom of the
face-off is
barrel.
complete. Yes, final comment.
I think putting the eggs in one basket is maybe the mistake that BJP made, because as much as people admire Prime Minister Modi, didn't expect comments like the Mangal Sutra and in every second word saying Muslim constantly. You know, it's that there's a difference between a Yatnal and Ishwarappa and a Prime Minister Modi. You know, you look at him with stature. So for him to come down to a certain level was a little, I think, a shift in that kind of adulation for him for a lot of people.
I'm taking Gaurav to the Musahar village in Hajipur. Then we can discuss civilizational nationalism.
Democratic
or
newsroom on the
self-rule.
field next time.
I'm taking you to Kashmir, and I want you
Lovely.
to see the changes that are coming in Kashmir. I really want you to see the change.
That-
No, no,
where
but Gaurav,
Pakistan
but
state
Gaurav,
sponsored
today,
Rahul,
Sanjay Camp and Gita Colony
No
are
terror,
today
no-
saying there is no water. That
By
is the
the way,
mudda for
since you
them.
spoke about
That
radicalism,
is
you
the
know where
mudda
the
for
worry is?
22 lakh
The
people
worry
in
is in
Delhi.
Rahul's home state. In Rahul's home state, there are at least 2 candidates who are openly openly espousing Khalistani separatism,
Last, yes.
who may actually win even as
Three
independents.
actually.
And leave it with trivia who's supporting them.
You know,
And leave the trivia to who's supporting them.
We've got just 45
Who is
seconds left.
supporting them?
Rahul, last word, yes.
You know, there's a point I wish to make about the India Today Access My India exit poll that comes up 5 p.m. onwards on Super Saturday, the 1st of June. The buzz and the hype around the exit poll is seriously insane, and we're working very hard in bringing it together. But what we wish to say is, just remember when you watch those numbers on Saturday, an exit poll is at best a directional exercise. What you can pick up, which is very significant, is how communities voted, castes voted, gender, demography, how the spread of votes is changing from the last election. Don't get obsessed with every seat. I know that the team that we've built has a 93% track record going down on every Lok Sabha seat, but that's really the most unscientific part of the poll. What concerns me the most, Shiv, is that the maximum amount of hype and enthusiasm is about the one tail part of the poll, which is the least scientific. The most it's a sample size of 580,000 voters. We've been to 22,000 villages and cities.
Most detailed.
So the level of detailing over 43 days is insane. You should look at the poll for how the mood in the country is changing. You know, these questions about what matters, what doesn't matter. Who's winning Raebareli, who's winning Amethi, who's winning Thiruvananthapuram. That's really, you know, it's fun. I know everybody enjoys it, but that's really the most unscientific part of the poll. But all that said, see you at 5 p.m. on Saturday.
5 p.m. We've got a big broadcast. The exit poll is something that's already trending even before it's happened. You know, the Congress has decided not to send its spokespersons. I'm sure there will be many more, quakes, big and small, before the big exit poll. It's the only one that India will watch, and that's a guarantee.